I will present Vladimir Tatlin, also a very important avant-garde artist that was active at the time when Lisitsky and Malevich and Kandinsky and Rodchenko were themselves very active. Let's read a little bit about this very important artist, very innovative, very creative. Vladimir Tatlin. Here he was actually Ukrainian. I mean, you know, I don't know the specifics of the tensions and all the problems related to Ukraine and Russia, but they were connected. You know, in some ways, Putin is right as well. You know, Ukraine and Russia are not two countries that do not have anything in common. Anyway, let me read about this. He was a Russian, Ukrainian, and Soviet painter, architect, and stage designer. Vladimir Tatlin achieved fame as the architect who designed the monument to the Third International, more commonly known as Tatlin's Tower, which he began in 1919. With Kazimir Malevich, he was one of the two most important figures in the Soviet avant-garde art movement of the 1920s, and he later became an important artist in the constructivist movement. Now, I show some artworks by him. This is from before the revolution, a female model, 1913, oil painting, but he became more radical and more experimental later on. A scene designed for the play A Life for the Tsar from 1913. Here we see indeed the life of the Tsar is a Gothicist interior, a Gothic interior, which has nothing to do at the first sight with the adventurous abstractions of later years. Now, the Tatlin's Tower, which is his best known work, a monument to the Third International, the design was never built, was done 100 years ago by 1919, 1920. And here it is as a model. You can see its scale, the scale of the model, if you compare it with the scale of the human beings nearby. And we are going to see also, just like in the case of the Lenin Tribune, which remained a project, we'll see another project that tried to bring this famous proposal by Vladimir Tatlin into the present. Now, we see in the courtyard of London's Royal Academy of Arts from 2011, recreation of the, a model of this famous, creation by Vladimir Tatlin. This is from 2011 in London. So you see again the power of ideas that are genuine, that are intensely creative. They do persist, they do transgress the limitations of time. Now, recently made copy of Tatlin's Tower. Let's see if it's not the same one, a later model. No, it's a model of the same thing, but still as a model. We are going to see also a recent project envisioning a new Tatlin's Tower at this place in Jakarta. Isn't it beautiful and moving that, an idea of a Ukrainian Russian artist crosses the frontiers of time and space, and it arrives in Jakarta in the 21st century. And here it is. It's a project. But who knows? Maybe one day, it might be built. It's a project with all kinds of, aspects to it, sustainability, ecology, hybridity, but all within the structure suggested by, and designed more than suggested by Vladimir Tatlin. There is the fish farming, insect farm. So you see, it's adapting the thought of Vladimir Tatlin to the present. Air purifier, you can see it's a large building, and we are going to see a diagram where the correct size, as it was intentioned, the Tatlin's monument, in comparison with other tall buildings, built in various places. It could be a very interesting tower, and I hope one day something like this would be built. Here it is. You see the Tower of Babel on the left, and the Eiffel Tower, then Tatlin's Tower, a little bit taller than the Eiffel Tower, and then this envisioning Tatlin's Tower in 2019, so 3 years ago, as a celebration of 100 years of Tatlin's Tower. This is exactly what I am trying to do with these Zoom presentations. When we pay homage to an artist or an architect, on the day of their birth, let's say if you have 100 years or a centennial or 200 or 700, like in the case of Dante, if you create a new work that pays homage to that birthday, to that important cultural event, you continue to create culture. I totally agree with Johan Huizinga, the important Dutch historian, who said, in order to preserve culture, you have to create it. And this is exactly what these people tried. 100 years after, you see, from 1919 to 2019, so 100 years after Vladimir Tatlin proposed his tower, they thought of, creating culture, not just by looking passively at the past, but creating something new, connected with what they were celebrating and paying homage to. Now, a dress design, he designed even fashion, and when I presented his works a while ago, I commented that it's a contemporary design. It was done 100 years ago, but if Giorgio Armani or Calvin Klein would have come up with this clothing, would have been quite, I would say, successful. Now, some costumes from 1923, 1924, these also have a remarkable, freshness of vision and simplicity, modernity, actually. Vladimir Tatlin, he also did these very interesting sculptures, human-powered ornithopter. So it's not a helicopter, it's an ornithopter. So it's inspired by nature, and it's an artwork, but maybe it could even function for real flight. And I think it looks very interesting. I don't contest at all. In fact, I admire its artistic qualities. And who knows, maybe it was meant to also fly, but artistically it's formidable. You'll see another one, this one from 1930, 1932. Lenin was already dead now for 6 years, but the artists continued, even if they kind of stayed underground. Look at this, this is surrealist Leonardo da Vinci, Vladimir Tatlin. Bravo to him. So again, how it is called? Ornithopter. Yeah. And now a window cleaner and portrait of Vladimir. It's a brush on paper, kind of like returning to figurative art after abstraction, years dedicated to abstraction, just as Malevich did. Well, he probably liked this window cleaner, this lady. Here he is. The artist thinking about how to probably, seduce the window cleaner, and the window cleaner doing her job. A human moment, similar to so many other human moments of this kind.